What's up, guys? Welcome to Honest Tattooer. This week, we're talking about fucking nerd tattoos. And to start it off with the biggest nerd of them all, what's up, Skylar?
Hi.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
I love that, though. That's my favorite title.
And we have a guest. Spike, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, you guys?
Good, man. Welcome to Honest Tattooer. And we have Big over there on the couch, another big-ass nerd. We got no mic.
Micheless.
And as always, Matt Trianos. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Pretty fucking good. So today, man, we're going to talk about all kinds of different things and most of all tattoos, as always. So how you been, Skylar?
I've been really good.
So for the people that don't know you, just tell them your name, where you're from, where you tattoo, what kind of work you like to do, how long you been tattooing.
My name is Skylar. I'm originally from Coney Island, New York, so I'm from Brooklyn, you know. I have been tattooing now for 7 years. I actually learned how to tattoo from John, Matt, Dave, and Matt number 2.
Wait, which one am I?
You're going to have to figure that out. Which one are you? Yeah, figure that one out. I have been recently really liking to do a lot of Asian motifs in a more traditional style. So like Japanese demons, just like more Asian imagery. So like chrysanthemums are maybe drawn in more of like a style of kimonos or just anything like that I've been really into. And I just like doing like bold, really colorful stuff. But I honestly do a little bit of everything. I could do like anime, I do black and gray, illustrative, I do dot work. I kind of try to just take on like as much as I can and try to just do it all. But I would like to do more of the more Asian traditional. That's what I'm kind of pushing towards right now, yeah.
Fucking fire. Mm-hmm. Now, Mike, for the people that don't know you, name, where you're from, same questions.
Same. I feel like I'm in a pageant.
I know, it's kind of
So I'm
it's when people
Mike.
get to know you.
I'm Mike. I'm originally from the Bronx. I tattoo in White Plains now, and I do mostly like nerdy, like pop culture tattoos, like anime, comic books, video games, like anything in that realm.
Sick. And then, Vega, you can yell yourself out if you get closer to the mic.
Been tattooing for 2 years from Brooklyn, New York. I've been tattooing for 2 years and just doing a bunch of walk-ins right now, but I really like to do like traditional and illustrative stuff as well.
Okay,
All right.
fire.
Don't kick that mic stand.
All right, fucking awesome. So, I mean, my experience with doing kind of like more like, I guess what we could like, what is nerdcore? Is that what that would be? I don't know.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think that's okay for me. I think it's appropriate.
Yeah, right? It would be like nerdcore.
Man, that just reminds me of a band called Horse the Band. And I'm almost 100% positive they created this own genre for themselves and they call themselves Nintendo Core.
What?
And it's such a fucking awesome name. But if you listen to them, like you're like, yeah, that's
that is what I would think of when I thought Nintendo Core, right? Like, okay. So that's what I think. It's like, it's nerdcore. It's like all these different, like, whether it's like the anime characters, the video game characters, what else would you throw in there?
I mean, I would throw like even
The Pokemon characters, all those
Pokemon,
guys.
Magic.
Like anything that is in pop culture, whether it's anime, comics, video games, like anything, even TV shows, you know, like movies, things like that. I think that all of that can fall into nerdcore. Just basically anything that is entertainment, like creative entertainment, I guess, right? Like where there's fictional characters, fictional universes, things like that. I think that could all kind of fall under that umbrella, right?
Yeah. So it's like, one thing is doing like, I've done some of those tattoos, but like, you know, there's people like Mike who specializes in those tattoos. So like, I've done a half sleeve of One Piece.
Okay.
And I've also done a full sleeve of Pokemon characters like Magikarp. What's the dragon called? Gyarados.
I think I've seen that one. It has like the traditional like Japanese.
Right.
Yeah,
And it was like,
Gyarados.
yeah, it was like, hey, do like a Japanese sleeve, but use these characters.
I think that's a really cool idea.
Yeah, and that was so much fun. You know?
Gabe did a whole leg like that, right? With the
Dragon Ball Z. He did a Dragon Ball Z full Japanese leg sleeve with like the same thing. So it's like, it's all about interpretation. Like some people want it to be very true to what it looked like on the anime that they watch. And some people are like, I want to see your interpretation, which I think is kind of rad.
Yeah.
I feel like it's really fun too when you get something like that because it kind of takes out a big part of the designing process, which is like designing the character itself. Like if you know what like a Gyarados looks like, you can make that like dragon very easily. If you know how to draw a dragon, you know how to draw a dragon, right? Like, and to make it look like something that already exists, you don't have to think about like what to put on it. You already are given the base of it.
For sure.
You know, so you could, like for example, your Gyarados sleeve, right? You could figure out the way you're going to do the body and all the background stuff, but the actual design of Gyarados, like, he looks like that.
It's very simple.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like all these circles from what I remember, and I'm not even like, you know, it's like all these like circles instead of like the regular kind of dragon body, but it's still the same pattern repeated over and over, which is the same thing when you draw a dragon. It's like a lot of patterns being repeated perfectly. It's just the same thing, different way to illustrate it. And I think it's really fun. And I think the hardest part of doing the anime tattoos for me is the color matching of things.
Okay.
You know, because like the way that like the way it's shaded like on like either a movie or an anime game or whatever is a very specific way, you know, that it's not like most tattoos are applied or shaded, you know?
Yeah. Mike and I were talking about this before, that there are some clients who are into these gaming tattoos who are pretty open to your interpretation of the character. But a lot of times they're very particular of what this character looks like. And I've actually had a couple of clients who asked me for like, oh, I want this character fighting this character who might not ever be like in the same film or whatever, you know, game or whatever, but like, I want you to draw it, but I want you to make it look like they actually belong, like they should be battling each other. I'm like, bro, I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. I don't know who these characters are. I can't redraw them in a position that they've never been in. And it's very stressful, man. I wind up turning those things down, or I'm like, you have to show me a picture exactly what this character looks like, how he's dressed, what his hair looks like, the position you want him in, because I'm not recreating it like any better than it already is.
Like even how it's shaded, like, you know, like cell shaded stuff and like video game stuff looks a very particular way. Like the shadows are placed in ways and like they're blocked out in patterns and stuff that I feel like it's a lot harder to really make up on your own if you don't know. If you don't know what
if you don't draw in that style.
If you don't draw in that style, and I feel like a lot of people just think that like, oh, well, you can draw, so just do it. But it's like you don't get it. Like this video game looks like this because it has these things. And for me, as just somebody who is just drawing it, you know, like it's very difficult to like figure all that out. I mean, of course, like you can take your time to, but for the people that are very like, I want it to look exactly like this game, it's like it's your best bet is to try to work from
a direct reference.
Yeah.
A direct reference.
Like you can definitely like take your own artistic spin and stuff and do your own thing. Like, of course you should always, but like, there's definitely some things it's like, you just got to follow by the original artist, because if you just fuck with it even a little bit, you could throw the whole thing off and make it look completely different than it's supposed to look like. So
someone like me who doesn't know any better, like those minute changes don't mean anything to me, but like to the person who's getting that tattoo, that means a huge thing.
Well, this is where all of this now, what we just talked about, right? AI jumps into the fucking mix in here. And it's like, hey, dude, I want this character from fucking Dragon Ball Z fighting this character from fucking Final Fantasy, bro.
I wouldn't
make
trust
it
that.
happen, dude.
I wouldn't trust that.
Because there's so many little specific like character things. Like I just know there's been times where I've tattooed somebody where they wanted a character in a certain pose, and I like took a screenshot tracing right of this, and they're like, I want on this leg instead. I'm like, well, she's gonna be facing the wrong way if I put it on this leg because it'll be backwards. But I can't flip the character because if you flip it, then the whole design is wrong, and I can't trust that AI will know that. And because like, you know, if you're like a busy tattooer, let's say if you're someone who doesn't necessarily watch all the anime that you're tattooing, you're just, you know, applying it to skin. You might not know that this chick needs to have specifically 3 strands of pink hair on the side, but the AI is like, you know, it's imperfect.
Close enough, bro.
Yeah.
It's like it's close enough.
Yeah, I guess I think it just depends on how like strict you want to be to
right.
it, or like how much leeway is your client going to give you to like do your own thing, and how much is it more like, no, I want it to look like official art from this anime.
I use AI a lot, you know, and then it's like, you know, AI sometimes doesn't necessarily give you the answer, but it'll give you go in that direction with this, you know, like it's going to point you in the right track.
Yeah.
So like, even though like what we're talking about is like, oh man, I don't know how I would ever put these two characters that are not even from the same world in the same place. AI might give you something that is like, oh, now I see how this could actually work and make it be rad, you know? And then you might have to use a combination of like different references from either, you know, two different video games, a movie and blah, blah, to put it all together, get the right colors, get the right anatomy or little small changes. But at least it'll give you like a good starting point, better than what you would have if you had to like go from scratch, you know?
I feel like that's where like the important part of like being an artist and being a good tattooer comes in, right? Because it's like you can use AI as a tool, but you can't just blindly trust it, right? So that's why you definitely need to still like be able to be like confident in knowing that even though AI looks fucked up, that you can like see where it's fucked up. It's kind of like, you know how like Sailor Jerry used to like send people pictures and then, but he'd like kind of fuck with them a little bit, make them look weird to see if they would like change it. I feel like it's almost similar. You kind of have to see what's wrong with it and fix it a little bit.
I feel like I have a tattoo like that. I have a piece of flash from Spider Murphy's book, and it's a hand, and the pinky looks very much like a dick.
I'm
Like
telling
on
you, man,
purpose.
they used to do that shit, man. They would like fuck shit up on purpose to see if people would like just, you know, if you'd bother to fix it. Like, are you just gonna try to rip my shit off for free? Are you gonna like try to like, you know, do your own thing to it? So you telling me you got a weenie on you right now?
I got a weenie on my shoulder.
Damn.
Yeah.
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking some tequila.
You don't look like you're.
Yeah, you don't look like you're enjoying
You
it.
look like you're having a hard time right now.
I don't think every liquor is meant to be enjoyed while you sip it. It's more about how it makes you feel,
The fuck?
you know?
How you gonna feel good when you don't enjoy it?
Bruh, how do you look good when you don't enjoy working out? Because the workout could suck, but the
Bro,
results
we're talking about liquor
are
here.
incredible.
We're not talking about no motherfucking
Well,
push-ups.
this is what I'm saying. It might suck when you drink it, but the results of drinking it, they're great. The little buzz, the happiness, absolutely works every time.
I'm like 4 drinks in anyways.
I know, you lost in the sauce. Come on, bruh. So what are we going to talk about now?
I mean, I thought that was it. Done. See you guys later next week.
Stick a fork in them.
We're done.
Thanks for listening.
Drink time.
So, Mike, how did you get kind of more specialized in this one genre of tattooing? Was it something that people pursued you about, or is it something that you kind of said, like, this is kind of where I want to head?
In the beginning, I pushed it a little bit, but I started tattooing in the Bronx, and people did not want cartoons tattooed on them. They were like, "Yo, that shit isn't tough. Like, I don't want that shit." So it was like a really hard go for a little while. And then little by little, I feel like I just started like chipping away at it because it's always something I've been into. Like, I'm not classically trained like art wise or anything. Like, I liked cartoons. I drew comic books. I redrew what I saw on TV. So that's always what I kind of like geared towards naturally. And then I just kept like kind of feeding it to people until it just got a little bit bigger. And then lately, like, anime took off. So that became like the thing I've been doing the most of lately.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Fun.
I feel like there has been with streaming, you know, with like the fact that you can like, you know, what is the name of that one streaming service that's all anime? It's like Funimation.
Crunchyroll, Funimation.
Maybe Funimation. That's the one that I've seen.
Funimation. I mean, every single thing has one. Even Netflix has like their own exclusive anime now. Like you're like.
It's all over.
Yeah, like anime is a.
It's a big freaking thing.
It's crazy because you see now like there's like merchandise at like places like, you know, Target, or you'll see anime merchandise at places like Hot Topic. Dude,
wild.
that was not a thing like when I was like younger. Like you had to go to specifically like Japanese or anime places to get even anything like that. Like a single keychain like that. Now you can go to the mall and get like everything. Like there's whole stores dedicated to it. It's pretty crazy. I'm not like trying to
very
gatekeep.
mainstream though.
Yeah, I'm not trying to gatekeep it or anything, you know, but it's just wild like to see how much. And I feel like anyone, you know what I mean? Like it just wasn't around like that. Like just that stuff just wasn't a thing.
Oh my
It was
God.
around, but just people weren't like flexing it like that, you know? That shit wasn't cool.
Way more
so.
niche before, and it's like if you knew someone that knew somebody and they gave you this, so they put you onto this and told you about this show, and then like it just grew from there, and now it's available everywhere.
It's kind of tight.
Yeah.
That's kind of tight because like I'd never watched or even heard of One Piece until I tattooed it, and then not too long ago I was like, oh shit, there's that Funimation like anime thing. I was like, let me see if they have this, and I started watching, and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty fucking entertaining. It's cool. But I also know that it's super long anime show. I was like, I'm
Dude.
not gonna commit to like
Dude,
years
just-
of this right here.
Done, bro. Just pack
It's like
it up.
so much.
Pack
It's like
it up,
I'm
bro.
too behind.
Pack it
I'm
up.
too
Just
behind.
nah, yo. There's
This is
like
like
1,000 episodes.
Yeah, I'm saying it's like it's like 4 times Game of Thrones. You know what I'm saying? It's like no,
But
dude.
you know what they do too? They be adding like bullshit episodes in there, yo, called like filler episodes. That it's just them doing bullshit, like this fucking around doing not shit, just so you sit around and give them your fucking minutes, yo. And then like
That's pretty
there's
good.
like fan compilations where they'll literally take out every single episode that's like that, like filler, like removers,
put 'em all together.
just so you put all the meat and potatoes of it, because there's so much like extra bullshit for like that they put out just so that the studios can like catch up to the.
Sell more ads, baby. We gotta watch them. They keep watching. We'll
There's
sell more
whole
ads.
sites dedicated to like, oh, you want to watch this? Just skip this one, and this one, and go straight to that one. And you can skip 10, 20 episodes
Yeah,
sometimes.
so
A certain-
many.
Be on storyline, and you're like, I still don't know what's happening.
Because it'll be
It's
like they're in
crazy.
the middle of like a crazy fight arc, and all of a sudden it's like, yo, let's take these characters to like the spa or something.
go to the
And then
they go to the supermarket or
and
something.
like eat some food, and then some bullshit happens, and then that's it. And you're like, what the fuck was that for? Like, there's like that's like so.
It's like the
common.
Seinfeld of anime. It's
Yeah.
a show about nothing.
So what? This studio is it Ghibli? What?
Ghibli?
Ghibli?
I think so, yeah.
I don't know how to
Ghibli.
How do you
it, actually.
pronounce
I don't know
that
what
I
the
think
right
it's
correctly?
Ghibli.
Yeah,
Ghibli?
Ghibli? Studio Ghibli?
Watch. No, it's Ghibli. I'm pretty sure.
If
I'm
we're wrong, we
I'm pretty
apologize.
sure. We're not gonna be wrong on this podcast. Bro.
I
I'm
know,
not
we're
letting
all
it
like on
happen,
the-
yo.
so-
How?
So they have like on the new like Max streaming,
They have a bunch of them.
right? And they have like a whole like library of like the Studio Ghibli like movies and shit like that. And my kid, I started wanting to, pushing him to like the things I like. So I was like, oh, we're gonna watch some anime. I'm gonna try to start with something that he's gonna dig. So we started watching like the Princess.
El Mononoke.
Yes, he liked it. It was kind of fire. He
It
liked
gets intense.
Yes,
sometimes,
it gets
I think.
intense. And then after that, we started watching another one that was like one of the more popular ones. That it's like, damn, what was the name of it? It's like,
It's Ghibli, by the way.
it is Ghibli.
Just so y'all know, I just looked it up. It's Ghibli. That's what this YouTube video said. So, yeah, bring it up, y'all. It's Ghibli.
It is
It's
Studio
Ghibli,
Ghibli.
as it should be. As it should be. That shit is Ghibli. It don't look like no
Ghibli,
Ghibli.
no
Yeah, get out of here. Fuck out of here.
So
I had to clear the air. Had to make sure everyone knew.
Was it Spirited Away?
no, it wasn't
No.
Spirited Away. It was like about this guy who was like like the one, and he was just fucking powerful as
You're gonna
fuck.
have to get more specific
Ah,
with that.
dude,
That's like
Talking about like
yeah.
every anime.
Yeah,
ever
you're talking about
that
every
exists.
single. You want it, yo? It's like there's a guy, and he's like the
And he's
dude, bro.
the guy,
he's the
bro.
guy, and guess what? Either he doesn't know it, but everyone else does, bro. And guess what? He's bullied his whole life for it, dog. And then some crazy shit happens, and then that's it. That's the whole anime.
Every anime
That's every anime
ever.
ever. Yeah,
Aw.
some underdog story. We love that shit.
We do love underdog
love it.
story.
But yeah, you gotta be more specific. You can't just be like, no, it's the
Fuck,
guy
man.
that was the one. It's like they're all the one.
They're all
That's
the
the whole
one.
reason you know.
I guess that's true. God damn it. Oh, but okay.
All
So
that
it gets more
too.
specific. So this guy's protecting this girl that has like some kind of weird face marking. No? Is that also very generic?
I mean, I don't watch anything, and that seems. I feel like I've seen every character with some weird
It's like
face mark.
she's got some affliction, right? She's either like got some demon. She's got some demon, right?
I feel
Or
like I have too many things in my head right now.
That's what I'm
I
saying,
can't
yo.
narrow it down at all.
it's you know what the thing is? Those tropes are so common because they work.
Yeah.
They work, and everyone likes to see the underdog win. Everyone likes to see the dude that's like not it become that motherfucker. They love that shit. So I feel like that's just every anime ever. I mean, of course, it's not always like that, right? But I feel like that's a good 80% of shonen anime is like that.
Totally off topic, but not. Have you ever seen Revenge of the Nerds?
No.
Of course you haven't.
Ask me
You
any
haven't
movie.
either?
Nah.
I've definitely
No.
seen
You've
it.
definitely seen
That
Revenge
movie's
of the Nerds.
like watching it now is kind of tough. It's kind of cringy at some moments. It's,
Yeah.
it's a little
Is it-
difficult.
Did it age very well?
No.
When did it come out?
In the 80s.
Yeah, like 83
Isn't
Okay.
yeah.
or something
yeah,
like that.
Yeah.
What kind
It's
of movie is it?
it was a three. That's right. It was a trilogy.
Revenge of the Nerds.
Wow. Fuck. You need to watch that, Skylar. We can't go deeper without knowing what we're talking about here.
I'm not a movie person. Y'all
Neither
are
am I.
not still selling this movie to me at all. You told me it has three parts.
Even just play it in the
That's already
background. The characters are likable though. There's like good
What is
likable
it? You haven't
characters.
told me of anything.
What do you think this
happened?
movie's about? What do you think this movie is about? Revenge. Think of the title: Revenge of the Nerds.
I don't know, man. They killing people. They just like they do silly pranks. I don't know what's happening.
No, so it's like
Silly
She was
pranks.
kind of right with the silly prank thing.
yeah, silly prank thing. Yeah,
See,
kind
so
of.
that's not like too crazy.
It's about.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh man, you know whatever. Have you ever watched the Monsters University movie?
No, I think I watched Monsters Inc. though.
Oh, okay. So
I watched that one.
Different storyline, but it's pretty much.
My bad.
Okay.
My bad.
It is like Monsters
I don't know the
University, but with
Monsters
people.
Inc. lore.
Okay, well, okay. So basically, you're just all right, whatever. So basically, with Revenge of the Nerds, think of like two fraternities. You know, the cool guy fraternity, and then like
The nerd
fraternity, and then somehow things happen, and then the nerd fraternity becomes the cool guy fraternity, and they switch it up, bro.
Is this like a teenager movie, kind of like it's like a young adult movie?
Young adult movie,
Okay,
but all
yeah.
the guys look like they're mid
They're
30s,
They're
40s.
definitely
dude.
old ass.
They
dudes,
look
yeah.
like adult men.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because like I feel like when you're younger watching that stuff, you don't even think that they look that old, and then when you're like our age watching it, you're like, yo, that's like a grown ass man. Like this shit. Why is this grown man in this high school? Like
It's like
going on?
Grease. You go back and watch Grease. Those guys are supposed to be in high school. They're like 45 years old.
And you look back, you're like, yo, that's like that dude could be like my friend. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That guy is way too old to
What
be
is
there.
someone's dad doing in this movie, bro? You're in high school. This is crazy.
Hey, cool kids.
But that's how it was, for sure. But it's a good movie. You should watch it.
I feel like that concept of the nerds being the cool kids, like that is a real reality
that is real
happened.
reality. It's real life, bro. I mean, except I'm sure that Zuckerberg still gets picked on.
But you still gotta be like, the thing is like, people talk about, how if you're a nerd, you're cool, but that's not the case because nerds are still nerdy, bro. They're talking about like these pretty people that are into anime. They're not talking about like the nerds, you know what I'm saying?
There's like levels.
Like
There's
there's
nerd
levels to
levels.
it, dude. Like it's,
I forgot to put
it's
the table
it's
like
cool
that.
to be pretty.
Man, missed opportunity.
It's cool to be like really pretty and into nerd stuff and like really like suave and hunky with nerd stuff, because then it's like that's just like your quirky thing, right? But then when you're like a nerd, like, you ever meet those motherfuckers that will like dive over like their theories, bro? Like that dude is
Those are
not
geeks.
cool.
They're
That is not
Those
a
are
cool.
Those are geeks.
There's something.
Nerds and geeks.
They're unstable.
But that happens with clients sometimes that I end up tattooing. Like they come into the shop and I feel like they like wanna out nerd me. Like it's a competition. Like, have you seen this episode of this thing with this? And I'm like, no.
You're giving me like PTSD.
Because it happens all the time. Like they want to win.
You're
It's the strangest thing. It's the weirdest thing.
There was this guy. I can't say a lot because in the off chance that this dude somehow is watching,
Bro, who gives a fuck? Let's
Listen,
call his
like-
guy David.
Like
we just give him a name.
Yo, David, bro. Like, I like doing anime tattoos, but I'm like, I like it. I used to be really into it, and so I appreciate the artwork and stuff, but I just don't really have a lot of time to like dedicate to watching it, right? So I'm cool with it. I'm like, we're like, I like the art. And this guy comes in, he wants something, and I ask him, like, just like being chill. I'm like, yo, so like, what's this from? And I think I opened up Pandora's box, dude, because by the time that tattoo was done, I knew more about that anime than like any other fucking thing I'd watched like recently. He just went on and on and on. And then like, it just got to the point where I couldn't like tune in anymore, He just kept going.
Dude. Oh, man.
And it's so bad. And you're trying to be like so nice and you're trying to be like so chill. But then I tried to change the subject a few times, yo. I tried to be like, so like, what about work? Like what's going on?
I'll tell you straight up, and this is gonna sound
Oh man.
So
Oh man.
it could have been, possibly, I don't know, but it could have been autism. You know what I'm saying? But and I mean that in like the nicest way possible, because my son has autism. But it's like, there's
No, I don't
the
doubt it.
people that with autism that get obsessed about one thing. You know what I'm saying? Like so hard. And then they love to talk about it. And then they have this thing where they're so passionate about talking about it that they don't detect that you might not be interested in it at all.
And I'm trying my best to be very like, you know, like, I mean, you know, I'm just trying to be like a good, you know, nice person.
Just trying to do your job.
I'm like, yeah, dude, that's cool. But, and then I tried to change the subject, you know, try to talk about this stuff. And then he just like started like,
bringing it back to
because that anime, for some reason, that one anime also had like 100 different like mobile games that and he was like pulling it out and showing me, Doug, and I was just like, listen, literally, like by the end of that day, all my coworkers were like, yo, you and anime, bro, like I don't know what's going on, dude. It was bad. I felt kind of terrible.
It's so crazy though, because it's like, you know, people love to talk about things that, you know, they know about and they're passionate about because it makes them feel comfortable.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So like if you're in an uncomfortable situation like getting tattooed, talking about something that you feel comfortable about and passionate about will take your mind off of the whole experience.
It was just really hard because I was really, I understand that, right? Like I'm very like, I was very like sweet about it. Like I talked about it as much as I could, but there's only so much that you can say when you don't know anything about what it is and you're just getting talked at. So I kind of just let him like, keep talking, right? Yeah. And I was like cool with it and stuff, but it also was getting to the point where it was also starting to like overwhelm me because I'm doing this like huge like tattoo on him and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna be like tattooing a lot and I'm gonna have to like try to at least seem engaged in this conversation.
No, you don't. You can literally. No, wait. You can literally, and I've done this a few times with people that I've tattooed. I just said straight up, like, hey, dude, I know you really, really like, you know, I wish I could talk, but this is like really intense right now what I'm doing right here. I need to really be focused. So you can keep on talking, but if I'm not engaging, don't worry about it. I'm hearing you.
I was
go back to just the work.
And I admit that definitely should have been the move, but it wasn't the move is what's happening. That's what I'm telling you. Like that's not what happened. Right? What happened was I was just trying to be like as nice as I could. And then by the end of that, dude, I felt like I ran like 10 miles, bro. I was like, yo, that was a lot. Like,
work.
And I always feel bad when I feel like that, right? Even though I know I shouldn't, right? Because it is a lot of, like, people don't really realize how much, like, I don't want to call it emotional energy, but it's energy that it takes to tattoo people sometimes.
Yeah, it's an exchange.
You know, it's an exchange and, like, and I feel like some people you really vibe with for no reason. There's no reason. You just vibe with them really well. And then some people, it just, like, it's really hard.
Like being on a bad date and trying to make it.
I tried my best, you know, and I feel like I feel like I handled it like pretty well, you know. After that, I just learned that like whenever I tattoo this guy, maybe I just like don't talk about like anime. Like maybe I just like
to a minimum.
keep it to like just like person to person, right? Like don't like bring in the whole like anime stuff. Cause
I would imagine someone like that will bring in anime. Like he can just reference it from every aspect of every part of his life. Like, oh man, this reminds me of, you know, this guy in this episode or whatever.
It was hard. I felt really bad, but at the end of the day, you know, I mean,
that's how I feel about Seinfeld. I feel like every situation is a Seinfeld episode. I can go through my day and like I can see at least 4 or 5 Seinfeld episodes.
Yeah, like this is a Seinfeld episode.
gosh.
I don't like to like really, I don't know, like when I'm tattooing people, if they choose a subject that's what they want to talk about, you're going to talk about that all fucking day.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that makes them feel good.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was saying.
Especially if they're like, they want to carry the conversation. I'm like, all right, carry on.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying. Like I was trying to like follow along, you know, but I feel like at some point it was almost like rude of me to just keep carrying on when clearly the only thing I had to say was like, yeah, like, yeah, yeah. And I just felt bad. So I don't know. The point of the matter is I don't like have that problem anymore. I figured it out. Like, but it was a lot.
I hate to be a dick, but I was like, yo, homeboy was like sick of girls listening to me talk to about anime, bro. This is awesome. She can't even walk away. She has to stay right here. She has to listen to me.
I feel like a poser. Sometimes, like my client, like I feel bad because, like I said, I'm like a boomer anime watcher, so like I don't even like hip with all the new stuff, and you know my clients will come and they'll be so excited to talk about like the new movie or something. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know like anything about this stuff. I just like tattooing this, and I think it's sick. Like I think the artwork is sick, but I know nothing about it. And they're like, okay, like I respect that, but then I got like mad stickers and stuff from like all that stuff because they give it to me, you know. So then I don't know. It's just like I feel like a mad fucking poser. They just, like, I just got shit going on that I don't even know about. I'm doing shit. I'm like, yeah, there's this character. Here you go. Man, it looks sick. Yeah, it looks awesome. This artist is sick.
Then I find myself watching the same things over and over again most of the time instead of watching new things. If I get home, I'm going to make my stencil, do what I got to do for the next day, draw. Like if it's subtitled, like I don't understand Japanese. I can't watch it. So it's like I end up watching the same show 3 times because I know what's happening. It's in the background while I'm doing whatever I need to do.
I ain't watching no dub, bro.
I was like, wait, you watch dubs, bro?
I do both. I do both.
I'm just being an
That's
asshole.
dedication.
I'm just being a jerk.
If I have like time and like I can pay attention to it, then I'll watch it sub.
Yeah.
But if I'm like I said, if I'm drawing, if I'm doing stuff in the house, like I'm putting it in the language that I understand.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, yeah. I feel like it's just because I don't like watch anime just like in the background and stuff that whenever like dub anime comes on, like on like Adult Swim or something, I'm just like, oh my God, this sounds so like weird because like people that speaking like especially American English don't speak the way that like Japanese native speakers speak, you know, like our languages, like the tones and pitches and everything is completely different. So to have like American like native speakers try to emulate the voices of like Japanese speakers, it sounds like so cringe. It's
But is
so
that what
bad.
they do?
Yeah, cause like in Japanese it's very tonal. Like there's a lot of like no, just like very like expressive, you know, like high pitch, and it's like that's like very normal. That's like the way that you speak there. And the same thing with like other like Asian cultures. It's like very like tonal, but the tones are just different, like in English. So when you just hear them try to speak in the same way that Japanese people speak, it just sounds like they're just putting on this like force, like
Yeah, like all the
hey,
inflections
like,
are different.
everybody. Yeah, like it's just like
Yeah,
so
I was gonna
weird.
say in anime, there's always like the voice for like the, you know, the girl, you know, and then there's always like the strong dude. He's like, and then there's always the evil villain. That's like,
But there's like
Yes,
the
it's
cool
like all
guy.
these little voices and
But
shit
there's
like that.
But there's like this also the voice too that I think that like Americans can't really emulate, and it's like the cool voice that I think is like the cool anime guy. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like in Japanese it sounds so fucking cool, in Americans it's like I'm gonna be the next one. You're like, bro, what the like who the fuck are you? Like, you know, like who are you? And he just sounds so corny. But in Japanese it sounds just so
Yeah,
like
for sure.
like good, but it
I'm
just
trying to think of like what
man.
is the cool in English? Like who would be cool voice?
But,
I
like-
mean, it would be like who's this? Like Chris Pratt does cool voice when he's like doing voiceovers in cartoons. You know, like he was like Mario.
But that still sounds different than what a cool guy sounds in like to Japanese people though.
Yeah,
I
but
bet.
in
You know,
anime,
like-
his like voice is like deep
Yeah,
and raspy,
it's like
and it's
raspy
just
and
like
it's
A little bit more manly.
That's more like
Yeah.
I feel
Straight
like,
up.
But like even teenagers though will have that kind of voice, you know. And like I feel like in American media, you only get those kinds of voices from like hardened like older guys. Like I don't know, it's just weird. It's just a weird thing to try to make like a 16-year-old American dude sound the same as like they're trying to make this like also 16-year-old
Well,
like Japanese.
that's all about
guy
like
sound.
the cultural of like what people culturally see as the strong silent type, which I feel like that's usually what they like for like in Japanese culture. Like it's the cool guy, he's like strong silent type, you know? He's not boasty, he's not, you know, it's just
To
kind
me, I
of
feel like the cool guy voice is like half whisper, half scratchy.
kind of scratchy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Almost, I keep thinking Keanu Reeves, but I don't know if that's right.
Keanu Reeves is just cool.
I mean, he is cool.
Yeah.
He
He's
is a cool
cool.
guy.
He can do anything and he can be cool.
one.
So
he is the one.
He is the one.
You know who I think has a cool voice, and he's not American. The guy who played what's his name, Roy from
Roy Kent.
Roy Kent. Yeah,
Roy Kent.
he's got a cool voice.
He's got a cool voice. He's British.
What kind of stuff did you guys watch when you were a kid?
Dude, growing up, so I watched Saint Seiya, huge.
All my
Obsessed.
Dominican friends love Sensei.
Yes, Saint Seiya,
All
bro.
of them.
That was like the biggest thing in DR growing
It's
up.
like Nice del Zodiaco.
Yeah,
Like that.
Caballeros del Zodiaco.
Caballeros.
Yeah, Caballeros del Zodiaco, but it was really called Saint Seiya.
Yeah.
But we call it Caballeros del Zodiaco, dubbed with like people from Spain dubbing it. You know what I'm saying? So crazy sounding. But it was like the biggest thing, and also Dragon Ball Z was like the biggest fucking
Yeah.
thing.
Fuck, I'm such a loser, man. I was watching like Hey Arnold.
Dude, Hey Arnold was
Doug.
the shit. Hey Arnold was
I watched all that
awesome.
too. It was
Hey
great.
Arnold's room was fly. I would
Dude,
pay
that-
for that apartment right
Yeah.
Dude, with the little sunlight shit.
Yeah.
Yo,
He had a
listen.
skylight. He had the skylight like all over this. Dude, that shit was
He-
so expensive. If
he
you really
said
think
every-
about it.
now.
He set everyone's expectations for what New Yorkers were living like way too fucking high, bro. Because like everyone was
Every
thinking that
TV
we
show.
were
Yeah,
just
every
living
TV
in
show does that.
brownstone skylight rooms and shit. It's like, nah, man.
Yeah, like
we're-
they own the building or
Yeah,
something
like
like
the
that. Like,
fuck?
come on.
Yeah,
Who's doing that now?
freaking. I mean, every New York apartment and every TV show is usually fly as hell. Like
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
way too nice.
Yeah, reality check for when they try to come move over here and realize, oh shit, I gotta pay for.
Actually, that apartment's like $7,000.
yeah,
They've had
like-
articles where like this is what the friend's apartment would cost and how much you would have to actually earn in order to pay
make
for that.
that.
And they're like, there's no way that even all 6 of those characters together would make enough money to pay for that apartment. this month.
it's crazy. You need to make like 40,000, like 40 times. Like was it 40 times a rent sometimes mostly?
Yeah.
Like to even be like the only person on like a lease. That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. Shit. Did you guys watch the Mario movie?
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
Nah,
You didn't watch it?
No.
Oh, you gotta
I
watch that
want
shit with
to.
the kids. It was really
It was
good.
good.
You're missing out. It was really good. Oh man, Jack Black stole the show, bro.
Yeah?
Yeah. He stole the show.
Yeah.
Who was he?
He's Bowser.
He's hell yeah, hell
He
yeah. That's
stole
awesome.
the show, dude. So
Yeah,
good.
he's Bowser. Chris Pratt is Mario. And
Yep.
Yo, I think
Who's Princess
Okay.
Peach?
I think Princess Peach.
She's some young chick. Who is she?
She's from the Netflix show with chess.
Oh,
Queen's Gambit.
oh, ooh.
Dude, I think Princess Peach is in on it. I think she likes it a little too much. I think that's what's going on. There ain't no way you getting captured for that long, bro. And you
She's
just
like
acting like
gaslighting Mario
She's like,
over the
oh
last
my
30
god.
years.
She's like, oh my god, this big turtle's kind of kidnapping me again. Mario, help me. Meanwhile, she's like fucking posted up with this big ass turtle man, like in his little lava mansion or whatever the fuck, you know. And he's just her little fucking Mario's out there fighting for her fucking freedom.
Yo.
I'm saying though, I'm just saying. It's been a long time.
It's been too long.
It's been a long time of fucking around, and she hasn't really like.
Well, in the movie, they paint her as kind of like a badass, dude. Like,
Yeah.
like she can just do everything the Mario can.
Which is so
Bit
weird.
better.
It's so weird though because like I haven't seen the movie, but I feel like it's kind of weird that they portray her like that because she's always been portrayed as like a princess, as like girly, as like this like damsel in distress, which is like. I kind of feel like that's like her, you know what I mean? So it's kind of weird that she makes her like they make her.
That's
sound
not
like
woke
manly.
enough.
Because it's not woke enough. We're in 2020 fucking 3. Come on, women can do everything a man can.
Yeah, but that's Princess Peach though. She be getting snatched up by motherfucking Bowser, bro. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying what they should have done is they should have showed that Princess Peach was into it the whole time and she's just fucking around and doing her thing. I think that's what's happening.
I know. I mean,
Princess Peach in her lingerie.
Yeah, she likes.
they
likes
show
her
that like
Bowser
Princess
boyfriend.
Peach is like just Princess Peach with all the mushrooms and all that they just worship her.
Yeah.
It is kind of how they say it on the thing. Yeah, that's kind of how it's portrayed. It's like Princess Peach just showed up in Mushroom Land as a baby,
You're like,
and they freaking worshipped her,
You're like,
and they
"Holy
just we
shit."
worship her.
it's like you see this chick,
That's it.
Yeah.
That's literally it.
like you see this baby Princess Peach. This is our new queen.
And then you can eat mushrooms
And then
and,
they
you get
keep
bigger.
letting her get kidnapped. They keep letting her get kidnapped by this fucking turtle guy for like 20 years.
Because I think if you really look at it, right? Princess Peach is just a hot chick, and the mushrooms are just a bunch of fucking simps. Just fucking,
Yeah, and Bowser's
Princess
her
Peach.
big, like,
The
scary boyfriend. Bowser's like the toxic boyfriend. And she's like, oh my God, don't kidnap me. And she like, goes, and she like hangs out with him, you know. But he's like the shit, you know. He's like, don't worry, babe. I'm gonna make your little motherfucking Mario come over here and get your ass. And then you're like, you're telling me Mario that like Mario's gonna beat the ass of big ass fucking Bowser, bro?
Yo,
That
he's big as
motherfucker's a
fuck.
big fucking turtle, yo. You ain't beating his ass. He's letting you win.
Because he eats mushrooms and he feels bigger, stronger, faster.
He thinks he's beating his
Yes,
ass
he
'cause
thinks
he's tripping on
Yeah,
mushrooms.
he's tripping mushrooms the whole time.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
Would you count Luigi as like the side?
No, Luigi's just Luigi. Luigi's a trip. Luigi's an enabler. Luigi's an enabler. He's their homie that won't tell you you're fucking up, and he's like, yeah, bro, you can keep you and that girl. It's a good thing. Keep going for it. If I was Luigi, I'd be like, you need to dump that bitch. You need to go somewhere else. You need to go find a new chick because
she just gets into trouble, bro.
She keeps going back to. She keeps getting like caught up by Bowser, and you keep running over and doing this stuff, and I don't know, man.
She keeps getting caught up by the same dude.
The
So
same
it's like she
dude
goes back to
for,
her
like-
ex every time,
I'm just
and it
saying.
just happens over and over again.
Listen, I'm not saying anything, but I'm just saying there's something suspicious about the whole situation. It's just a little weird.
And she put him onto Luigi.
The first time, I can get it. The second time, okay. Dude, 20 years?
Can you guys clarify something for me?
It's a long time.
So, Mario is probably one of the only games I ever played.
Okay.
But I was never really into it, like the whole storyline and everything. Like, whatever. I played the game, it was cool. Growing up, I always referred to Bowser as King Koopa. Where did that come from? Why did I get that name?
there is a guy named King Koopa.
There's another guy named King Koopa. Yeah.
Who is that?
It's like one of his
He's one of his minions,
One of
yeah.
his little, like, dudes, yeah.
Yeah, it's like one of the head turtles, you know?
Things, and then I think he's like the
king
king
of
of the
those.
Koopas, and then it just kind of like.
Yeah, it's like he's like a
Mashed up,
general,
yeah, weird,
you know?
funky.
It's
So
like
is King Koopa like the last guy that you would have to beat?
there's like
I think it's just like him. I think it's just Bowser.
We're
just
getting
like an
so much.
alternate
We're
name.
getting so much Mario lore wrong. They're gonna come up in
I
here.
know.
And
Oh my
fucking,
God, I
yo,
hope so.
listen, this is gonna be the one.
but I
that
think
they're
you're
gonna be
right
mad
though,
about.
because he's the king of the Koopas.
Is Bowser a Koopa?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
He's just a giant
Oh
one.
yeah,
Giant.
Yeah, he's a giant Koopa.
All right.
he's a sneaky link. He's a sneaky
Talking
link.
about cool nerd shit, I watched the Ninja Turtles movie, and that was fucking phenomenal.
I haven't seen that yet.
It was so good. It was so cool. And from an illustration standpoint, it was fucking sick.
Yeah.
It just looked cool. Like they drew it, the whole thing, in this like really kind of animated, but like really sketchy style, you know? And it just looks really fucking cool.
You see, like I guess with the more modern version of the series, just drawn like really awkwardly.
No.
Oh man, I couldn't watch it. It was like every joint was sunken in. Like everything was like their necks were really skinny, but their like shell was really big.
Oh,
it
that's
just looked
weird.
awkward. Like they
That's
looked like they
awkward.
were like working out, but not the right muscles. Kind of.
So these
Only
guys,
their traps.
they don't look super buff. They look like teenage mutant Ninja Turtles. You know what I'm saying? They don't look like adult, like we're jacked Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
They look like teenage boys, you know, like just, and the way they communicate and the way they act and the voices that they chose, really young, you know, so
Okay.
that it's kind of dope. It really feels like a coming of age movie for Ninja Turtles, you know, when they're still like 13 and they're about to like,
Oh, the first.
yeah, it's kind of, it was really cool. Yeah, it's like the first time that they started identifying themselves as like, oh, we're going to start fighting bad guys and why they choose to start fighting bad guys, you know? Before that, they were just like, we're just hanging out and trying to like not be seen by humans.
Did you see the Spider-Verse movie? That's kind of like similar art style.
The similar art style, yeah. I haven't seen that, but I
That
heard
one's
it's really,
really
good.
good.
I heard it's really good.
And every I guess dimension and universe they go into is drawn differently. So like one's watercolored, one's pen and ink, and they all move. It's really vibrant. It's a really cool looking movie.
Man, as I watched this thing, I was like, this must have took so fucking long to make, dude. So many artists had to work to make this thing. Even if they use computers, like it still took a long fucking time.
You want to know a movie I thought that about that I watched like not too long ago? I watched Akira like a few years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, bro! And I was like so fascinated by it. I had to show my boyfriend who doesn't even watch like any like anime stuff at all. I was like, you have to watch this. They literally hand painted and drew every single frame of this like movie, and it was just. It's like
insane.
My brain can't even understand
Yeah,
it.
it's like so much work.
Like so much detail for just like a few seconds of screen time.
Mm-hmm.
And just like there's so much like little things that I just can't even imagine like
Every frame was hand painted.
everything in Akira was hand painted and
that
everything.
thing's super old. Like, cause that
It's
movie is like,
1980s.
yeah, it's like 1980. So it was still
It-
way before anything was happening.
Okay.
Like
It
now.
set the precedent for like so many movies from then on out. Like so many modern movies like are inspired by Akira. Like if you haven't seen Akira, it's like a masterpiece. Like it's
have not.
absolutely gorgeous. It's so pretty.
Yeah, it's a really,
Yeah.
really
Very good.
impressive fucking just animation is insane. And it just feels very like that was the first time that I saw like animation that felt mature.
Yeah,
You know?
I think
Yeah.
that's what it did. It kind of like really showed people that like it's not just like
It's not just
children's
cartoons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like this is like sophisticated like artwork. This is some real deal because they did in animation at the time what was not possible in like CGI, right? Like they
Right.
did the whole
Yeah.
like scene. There's just so much stuff with it that they portrayed, and I feel like a lot of stuff they portrayed would not look good in CGI. It's something that really only looks good in that like
It would look at CGI good now. Now it could
Now,
work,
yeah.
but like not in the 80s.
not
it
in
would
the
look cheesy.
80s.
you know?
Yeah, it was just so good, and man, that was like such a beautiful piece of art. I just
they killed
couldn't
it.
I couldn't believe it. Yeah,
And
so
it
good.
holds up. Like if you watch it right
It
now,
still looks good.
Great.
It still
It's
looks
great
good.
right now.
It
Yeah.
rivals so many movies. I feel like I watch movies nowadays. I'm like, man, that doesn't even hold a light to
Yeah.
Akira. It's all so much like so many movies nowadays just look so like just like I don't even know how to explain it. You know, they look like cheap or they look like they don't like
Rushed.
rushed, you know, like they just look soulless or something. It looks like mass produced in some way, even though it's not. It just looks like that, and I feel like it doesn't have that look anymore.
I feel like that's very common with a lot of stuff. Like even if you look at architecture, like you walk around some of the old buildings, like look at all the stonework and the carving on all the sides of the buildings. Like those
They're like-
fuckers took their time and carved every fucking like little statue.
bit.
There's like
Yeah.
craftsmen
Yeah.
that made that. It
No
wasn't
one's
just
doing that anymore.
Yeah, it's like craftsman. I feel like it's kind of like almost, I don't know. You know. I feel like that could apply for so many things where there's like craftsmen that like do the thing well and they know what they're doing and they take the time to make these little details that people may never notice. And then there's people that just do it just to make it be done. You know.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what a lot of like this modern day like movies and cartoons and stuff, they're just like mass producing it, like outsourcing all this work to other places just to get it done for cheaper. They don't really necessarily care about like the long lasting charm or like anything like that. They just want to get that shit out there and make their money and make their merchandise, and that's it.
Well, what's your favorite kind of anime stuff to tattoo? Let's go around the table.
My favorite stuff I like doing, I don't get asked for it a lot. I like doing like late 90s, like early 2000s anime, like the stuff I got into. So like I like Ninja Scroll and Fist of the North Star and Akira and Ghost in the Shell, like things that are a little older.
Yeah.
That like, I guess an older crowd, like, so I don't get those as
More
much.
nostalgic, yeah.
Yeah. So those I'd like to do. Those would be some of my favorites for sure.
That's cool.
I feel like I like doing those, I like doing manga panels a lot. Like I like doing like manga panels where it's like a 1-page spread or like a multi-page spread. So it's like a big image, you know, like
Okay.
a big image, like ideally. And it's like a very like important spot in like the anime, you know? So the
Yeah.
image is like very big and you can like find a lot of detail and stuff. I feel like I prefer those a lot more than like the singular, smaller panels because you kind of have to like, you're within like size constraints. And then
Yeah.
you also don't want to like, you don't want to make a tattoo that's like of an image that's bigger, you know, you can simplify it more and it'll still look like that image, but there's
Yeah.
only so much you can simplify a panel that's only this big,
Small,
especially
small.
when they want it like smaller even.
Yeah.
So I kind of like when people bring in like big images on like like big images from a manga or like zoomed in things, you know, just like things that are lot more like focused than just like small little panels
Small
or
little-
scenes, you know.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, I feel like I like that kind of stuff. I like black and gray, things like that. But it's just because mostly I enjoy like the detail that goes into like the manga panels that are drawn like that too. They definitely put like the people, the artists do a lot more detail on images that are that big as well. So
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, if you got the room for it, you can put that detail in it.
Yeah, it's cool to like translate a lot of those effects that they do on the page into a tattoo because you can't do like the same screen print tones, but you can do like stipple shading and you can do like these things and it's cool.
Yeah, I feel like that's where the challenge comes in. Like technically, like if you want to tattoo it, it's none of it was made to be tattooed or drawn with anything similar in consideration. So you got to figure out like what I need to take out, what I can add, what I can like play up and play down to make it work, you know, because it's not just going to be tattooable like straight off the bat 90% of the time anyway.
I feel like a lot of old school tattooers especially like to look down on anime tattooers because they're like, you're just tracing and like you're just like doing whatever. It's like, dude, there's actually like quite a bit that goes into making, like if you actually give a shit about tattoos and give a shit about how it's gonna heal, because anyone can just take a manga panel like that and do it exactly like that, you know, but not everyone's gonna take the time to look at the manga panel and be like, I have to remove these lines because they're gonna like bleed over time, or I have to, maybe I should do the shading like a little differently because there's so much black in here that like it might crowd that, you know, like I feel like you can tell a little bit when someone's just being like a photocopy machine and don't really care about how that tattoo is going to look like 10 years down the line. Because even though it looks like an anime manga panel, it's still a fucking tattoo.
Yeah.
It's still going to heal like a tattoo. It's still going to spread just like that. So like these tiny little faces that you're doing in this manga panel, yeah, it looks really cool right now, but how is it going to look like 5 years
Yeah,
from
it's gonna
now?
look messy.
You know, like
Careful there, Skylar. You're going to get canceled now.
whatever,
Yeah.
man. Whatever. I've seen it on my own tattoos that I've done.
You're making people angry.
No, like my own tattoos I've done on people like manga, you know, I'll do it like small and I don't think about it because at the time it looks sick. You know, I pull out like a little type 3, a little 5 and everything. And then like I see them again like 4 or 5 years later. It's like, oh shit, this motherfucker doesn't have a nose anymore because it like blended all together.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and it's not like, I'm not saying that you can't do that stuff. But you
I
have
mean,
to
you
be
can
mindful.
do it,
You
but
have to
it's
be
more of
mindful.
like, how is it going to actually work
Like
long
heal
term
and
as a
last
tattoo?
long
You
term.
know, like I think the most important thing as a tattooer that you can learn is that just because you can do it
mean you
doesn't
should.
mean you
You should.
should do it.
Yeah.
You know, you shouldn't tattoo something just because you can execute it. You know, it's like, how is this going to actually work as a tattoo?
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people, you know, like especially with anime and manga clients, like a lot of them want the full body image of things, and I really a lot of times try to convince them to do more of like a torso or like a head like
Same.
shot.
Something
Be-
bigger, simpler, just more bold.
Yeah,
You know.
I try to talk them out of it every time.
Because, like, I mean, like, think about it. A face that's, like, in this much space is going to heal way better than a face that's in this much space and all this clothing and all this stuff. And, like, again, Instagram is really easy to be like, damn, that looks awesome. Everything looks good when you first put it in.
Right.
Everything looks good. You make that shit look crispy and clean and perfect, but you're not going to see it. And people like to post, like, healed photos, and they're like, oh, look, this is, like, a year healed. It's like, a year isn't shit, though.
Oh, no, I
Year's
like
not,
the 2
enough
months
time.
healed.
2 months healed.
Still
2
have that
months
shine
healed.
to it
Yeah,
and
it's like 2
everything.
months healed.
It's like
Feels perfect.
how about
red is
5
still
years
like-
healed, 10 years healed, and like and again, like that's not to say that you can't make tattoos that are detailed anime tattoos look good, but you have to do more to like think about that. So you have to make sure you're doing it big enough, making sure that you're zooming in enough on where you should, or like, you know, focusing on the right things so that like. Because, like, again, tattoos aren't perfect. They're going to eventually age and do what they're going to do, but you want to give them their best chance. And I think that, like, that applies to whether it's traditional realism or anime stuff. You got to think about what it's going to look like in
Well, when it comes to
10
that, I
years.
think one of the things that I think is very difficult for those kinds of tattoos is like sometimes like the colors that you need to use to be able to match like the artwork is not necessarily the best like tattoo color
Tattoo
palette.
wise.
Especially all those
you
skin
know?
tones.
Oh my God. It's like full skin tones, you know, and like and all these like
Well, that's why if you notice, like a lot of the people that do like full color anime stuff, they do a lot of like background, like contrasting, really like bright, dark, contrasting stuff, you know, like lightning or stuff, and it surrounds it. It looks really good because I feel like they have a good idea that that skin is not gonna look that good in like, you know, however long, but then once it heals, you're still gonna have all that background. It's gonna make that skin tone. Because let's be real, right? Like most anime characters are like light skinned, so
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like you could practically get away with it like negative space because you know in 10 years the only thing that's really going to be left invisible is going to be all the background anyway. So I feel like it still works. I feel like a lot of it's for show, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
because like you have to be so pale for some of these skin tones to
even
like,
work.
to even work, right? Like I see it and I'm like, dude, that skin tone that you packed in there is lighter than this person's skin tone.
Yeah, it's never
you
gonna
can't
work.
do that. It's not gonna
Never
work.
gonna work.
Like, and I tattoo like a lot of anime on darker skin.
Yeah.
And what I always try to tell people is like, hey, look, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do like a brown that's like close to what the shade is, like the shading part of this. And I'm gonna put it in there and I'm gonna put like background around it so it looks like I packed it with the skin tone. But if I pack it with the skin tone, like it's either not
Yeah.
gonna look like that.
It's not gonna heal that way.
It's not
at
gonna
all.
heal that way, or like I'm just gonna be doing it for show, just for a picture, because like, you know, it might not like show up, and sometimes it does. On some people it does, but I feel like you kind of have to play it safe with a lot of that stuff, right? And like
I think that's the thing
Yeah.
with tattooing. Always
yeah,
play it safe, man. Like,
and I think that, you know, I think people that are doing anime skin tone like on people that make it look good, that shit is hard. That is very difficult to make.
It's
that,
incredible.
Like, it's incredible to see those people pack in that like opaque peachy tone like amazingly, and I think it's like, that's what I'm saying. I'm giving them all credit, but I just can't, in my conscious tattoo, let's say if someone's like a little tan, like a little more tan than me, I can't in good conscience pack a skin tone that's lighter than their skin tone into their skin.
So this is
'Cause I
going to be
know it's
a
not gonna-
crazy opinion, but like one of my least favorite like on skin like tones is how like certain purples and lavenders
Yes.
look.
Hate them.
Yes,
I
because people
hate them.
tan. People
And
tan.
it looks crazy.
Yeah.
Yellow
right?
and purple.
And that color is like a heavy color that's used in anime a lot.
Yeah, you have to be super pale.
And like when you see those tones like done fresh, right? And you see those tones, they look great. They look beautiful, but I know how they heal.
Yeah.
And I know how they age.
And it's not even-
and how they gray out and how they start getting dull and they lose all of their kind of like luster over
The
the
gray is not
years.
even that big of a deal. It's like brown out.
They,
But
yeah, they
it's
kind of just
brown
like
out.
But it's not even like the deep purples, because deep purples look good. I feel like on like a lot of skin tones. It's like the lavender.
yeah, the
it's
lavender.
like that lavender.
The true purple looks a
periwinkle.
certain way,
True-
but that periwinkly lavender
yeah,
color.
like
yeah.
I feel like there's certain colors in tattooing. Like I'm gonna say it's like light mint, really light pink, like light, like minty, like I think it's peach, you know, like light lavender. That only works on like certain like skin tones.
Very
like-
few people can
and,
rock
like,
that.
And like undertones, you have to take into undertones like into consideration,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like purple and yellow make brown. If you do a light purple on someone who is light yellow essentially or dark yellow essentially, what are you gonna get? You're gonna get brown that heals. So maybe go for a more red purple. You know, you have to go for a deeper thing, but then that's another problem with like a lot of anime stuff is that some people are so particular with like the color that has something.
I want it to match the image.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
like,
You're
I
like, but
always-
this is white paper, bro.
I always try to like, you know, I'm never somebody who is like, you can't get color. You know, I'm very much like, you can get color, but you should get the color that is going to look the best for your skin.
Right.
Because you don't want to spend close to $1,000, maybe even more to get a full color tattoo that's going to take a long time, dude, that only looks good for a photo. And again, like there's definitely cases out there where like that stuff like does heal well on a lot of people, but I've also tattooed enough people and seen stuff come back where I've been like, I'm never using that color on some like on anybody that's
bruh. So I threw a comment. Ink Magazine posted, this, tattooer.
Yeah.
And I can't remember her freaking name right now. I could look it up, but I don't want to be that guy.
The Blue Rose?
No, it was. She specializes in doing a bunch of like sparkle tattoos.
I've seen those. I've seen those.
She does a lot of sparkle tattoos.
Which-
one of the tattoos on this, it was like maybe 5 of them. One of them, it was the princess from like the Frog and the
Tiana.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
Tiana, right?
Tiana, yeah.
Tiana.
I think so.
Okay.
That's what her name is.
So she's wearing kind of like a
Light green.
yeah, like a mint green.
I saw that, yeah.
You know, and like she did this on a dark skinned person. She put mint green, then she put the brown of that that cartoon skin tone on a brown person, and she put sparkly white
highlights
to make it look like the crown was like sparkly and etc. and all that shit.
I feel like even in this instance, like you still could have done a glittery tattoo with the thought of that this will try to like heal better, right? Like she just should have used not maybe as many light tones. Like I feel like if I were her, I would have done like darker green, like more spacing in between, like because I know exactly which tattoo you're talking about.
Okay.
Like I would have done more like spacing in between the greens. I would have done like a green that when it healed, it would look still green, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't have even minded putting like lighter dots of like yellow and like white in there, but sparingly,
Right,
Like
to
very
create
sparing.
the shimmery
I
effect,
did because
you know?
like it does heal a little bit lighter than the skin,
Heals
but it does
different, yeah.
heal like a yellowy, like it doesn't heal the way you think it's gonna heal.
No.
So I feel like you can do these tattoos. I full-heartedly think you can do a lot of these tattoos on darker skin. You just have to know how to modify it to make it look good on this skin tone. Because I don't like saying like, oh, you can never get this like glitter style, but like more like you can get this glitter style as long as you know that like I'm gonna have to do this like a little darker.
I mean,
or, like,
it
a little
also
bit
just
more.
there's limitations. You
Yeah.
know?
Everything.
There's
Yeah.
just limitations. Like I can't say that you can't because there's people that you can't.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
can't say that you can't. There's people. I'm sorry, that is just you can't get that. You know,
Like
you
I've-
just can't.
I've had to tell people like they'll come in, they have a reference from a tattooer, like we said, like a European tattooer in like Poland or something like that, and it's a darker skinned kid, and then the reference picture, it's a super pale, and I'm like, I can do something similar, but this isn't gonna look like this on you. Like it just isn't. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
There's limitations.
I can't lie to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what I can do to the best of my ability, but like that's not gonna work for you the same
I think
way.
I think it's such a touchy topic, right? Because like you want to give people the tattoo that they deserve, and you want to give them the tattoo that they are going to be happy with, but then you also want to like meet their expectations as well. And it's like you can't always like you have to kind of like be sure to like word things and talk in a way where it's like you're not basically saying that this is like your fault, you know, but
Well,
more
I
like
think it's you want to give them the best tattoo that they can get.
Yeah,
That's it.
exactly,
You know,
yeah.
just give them the best
Yeah.
tattoo possible
I just
for
wish-
them, you know? And it's like some people that have like that Russian pasty white skin can get colors that other people can't.
Yeah, you can put a line of straight white on them and be like, all right, there's that white line.
That's right there.
Yeah, and I feel like it's just one of those things that like, you know, it's not people trying to be like non-inclusive or
Right,
anything.
not at
It's
all.
just it's like I just want to give you a good tattoo. I don't ever like go into something being your enemy. You know, there's probably a lot of tattoos out there that are like, I'm gonna just be an asshole and like be an enemy.
Do it anyways.
And say that I'm just gonna do it anyways, or I'm gonna tell you, nope, you straight up cannot. But like I feel like most tattooers want to tattoo you. They want to do it well. And so, like, you know, look at their work too, you know? People, like, look at their stuff. Have they worked with other people with, like skin tones and stuff? If they look like they've worked with a lot of people where they have, like, worked with darker skin tone, you know, like, just, like, consider what they're saying, right? Like, consider what they're saying. They're not saying this to hurt your feelings or to, like, exclude you. They're telling you this because they care about you. They care about your skin. They care about their own work, by the way. Like, you know, they want to, like, I feel like that shows a professionalism that you should look for. You don't want to just go to somebody who's going to be like, yeah, man, I'll throw this, like, light pasty, like light lavender thing on you and like make it look real nice and it'll look real good for the picture. But then when you're healing, it's like inconsistent. It heals yellow in some spots. It heals brown in some spots.
For
like,
sure.
Yeah.
So I'll add to what, you know, to this whole thing. So like after, you know, on this post, you know, I made a comment about it.
So I found the post. Her name's Amanda Graves.
Amanda Graves.
She's out of Maryland.
And she's a solid, really good tattooer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think she's a bad tattooer at all, you know? And because I said something about the specific application in this one tattoo, you know, people were like, oh, bro, like, you should be supporting other artists. You shouldn't be talking, you know, bad. I'm like, bro, I'm not talking bad about this artist at all. I'm just saying that these choices made in this situation, maybe not the best choice.
Like
That's all, bro. She's a good tattooer. I'm not saying she's not a good tattooer. She's a good tattooer, bro.
Nobody is ever trying to be like, you know, you're doing it wrong or like, you know, you're not doing it right enough or whatever. It's just more like, I feel like the general public needs to like, no, you should.
Exactly. We're here to educate, man.
Because the thing is,
tell people the truth out
you're
here.
an asshole either way. You're an asshole if you tell them like what's gonna work, and you're an asshole if you don't. Because if you fucking have a client that comes in, they want a little fucking micro portrait of this big, and they want a little thing, and you don't tell them that that's not gonna heal correctly. If you just tell them some shit like, oh yeah, it'll hold up fine, like technology has changed and like blah blah. It's like tattooing's been around for thousands of years, dude. There's a way that this shit works. If you tell them that shit's gonna look good, you're just an asshole. You're as much of an asshole as the dude that's like, nah, you can't get this shit.
And
like,
I mean, my favorite was like, no, needle technology has changed over the last, like, bro.
It's needle to skin.
It's a needle, bro.
Going into your skin, injecting ink into this part of your skin that, guess what? As your skin ages, stuff just happens differently. And it's not that your tattoo's aging, your skin is aging. You yourself is aging.
You can't change.
You
Skin is
cannot
the same.
change that.
It
Until
hasn't
you can
changed,
figure out a
man.
way to stay young forever, tattoos are gonna age a certain way. It's been like that for a very long time. And like, sure, certain technology has changed, certain things have changed. You can get away with more fine line stuff nowadays, but there is like a limit. And like, I feel like people just kind of
People use lotion now.
Come on, haven't you ever seen Death Becomes Her?
What's that?
No.
No, of course not.
It's like the one movie I have seen.
She's like, no, never seen that.
So Death Becomes Her, these two women drink a potion so that they live for eternity. Oh. And as everyone else is aging around them, they still look good, but like they're kind of like, at the end of the movie, they're like they're creaking and cracking and everything. Like their limbs are falling off because they're so old, but they look good.
No, that's not what happened.
Yeah, dude.
No, I'm going to give you the rundown right now.
All right,
so
go ahead.
this
I haven't
is
seen the
deal.
movie in like 20 years.
So in Death Becomes Her, what happens is same premise, exactly what you just said. These two women drink a potion to live forever. But what the lady that gives them the potion, whatever you do, don't die. Don't kill yourself, you know, or don't anything because you won't die. And that's what happens to them. They get into accidents
Oh, yeah, you're right.
caused by themselves, and then they die. but then they become the undead, and now they're just like fucking zombies,
That's
just
right.
falling
Okay.
apart.
I haven't seen
If
that
they
in
would have
so
stayed,
long.
if they would have just stayed healthy and good and alive, they would have lived forever,
Yeah.
looking amazing.
All I remember about that movie is as good of an actor as Bruce Willis is, he was terrible in that movie.
I mean, it was a joke movie. I think he was trying to do comedy.
Yeah.
And he ain't a comedy guy.
Yeah.
Do you remember he had like a jazz album or something like that? Like he put out music, like doo-wop music or something.
What?
Or in the 80s. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
shit, I don't know that. I didn't know that.
He made like doo-wop music just because he was Bruce Willis and he could make
Yeah, why
doo-wop
not?
music.
Yeah.
not?
Kind of a bad, I mean, he's die hard. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers.
All right. Yippee-ki-yay. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in this week. Make sure that you support our Patreon. We really, really like that. And make sure that, you shoot us any questions through the Patreon page. And if you want us to, critique your work, it's just one of our favorite things to do. Make sure you submit it that way.
Yeah, go to patreon.com/honest-tattooer. There's different levels. Every level gives you the after show, which is just a little bit of extra content. And then the highest tier is where we do all of our critiques.
And Skylar, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram. My Instagram is abuses, ABUSCS. That's pretty much the only thing I use. So find me on there.
Okay. Mike, where can people find you?
You could find me on Instagram or on TikTok, Tattoos by Mike V, all one word. Same thing on both.
Yo, Vega, thank you so much for coming. Where can people find you, bro?
You can find me on Last Rewards. One word.
Well, guys, find our homies, and thank you so much for watching.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye.